I couldn't believe it myself, but there are more people moving here than Dallas, Texas, and it's because of their love-hate relationship with this one thing.
And you can get Frisco-sized houses without the Frisco prices, plus you're actually closer to the DFW Airport.
No matter what your lifestyle, today we're going to be talking about everything you need to know about DFW's hidden gem.
That's right, we're gonna show you houses from all different lifestyles, big houses, big yards, whatever you like. We're gonna show them to you, what they cost. These are houses you could buy today. Let's get going.
Right now we're in Alliance, Texas, and everything you see behind me didn't used to exist just a short while ago until people started flocking to this area for something that was there all along.
This area is surrounded by Haslett, Argyle, Northlake. If you've heard of these names, you've probably heard of them because of the great schools. People are doing everything they can, moving mountains to get their kids into these school districts. And for good reason. Not only are the communities phenomenal, but also the prices are great, and you're surrounded by all of this, a ton of shopping, restaurants, everything else you could want in an area.
With how unassuming this area may look on a map, you'd be excused for not knowing exactly how desirable it is. But with most of the houses being under 20 years old, it gives it a new, polished feel while preserving that Texas vibe that you just can't find in places like Dallas anymore. And on top of that, if you need to get anywhere in the Metroplex, this is the place to live. You're less than half an hour's drive from downtown Fort Worth, less than half an hour from the DFW Airport, and only about 45 minutes to downtown Dallas.
What started as a railroad stop and an overflow airport quickly became this booming economic center. So the Alliance Airport is actually one of the biggest commercial airports in the US, and because of that, during COVID, a ton of these warehouses got built. So on one hand, you get one-day deliveries with Amazon, or same day actually, but on the other hand, you might be living near some of these warehouses, and anytime you got warehouses, there's more semis on the road and that kind of thing, and so it's a little bit of a love-hate relationship here. But at the end of the day, this is a very safe area, especially if you're in one of these communities or suburbs, these master plan communities. And so that's a big reason people like to live here.
While the warehouses may seem a little unsightly, they brought a ton of jobs to the area. So people around here have not been hurting for employment, which means there's a ton of money being poured into the area. And money means you can go do things, because while the houses here may be lovely, you don't want to spend your whole life in them. And these people are definitely making the most of the outside space. We're talking activities left and right. You've got high intensity things like Andretti's kart racing or Texas Motor Speedway. There's gun ranges, TopGolf, and just down the road, if you want to make it to the stockyards, you've got rodeos galore. But if you're looking for something a little bit more chill, we've also got some options there as well.
If you do find yourself out this way, whether you move here or you're visiting, the truck yard here is a great place to stop in and meet some folks. As you can see, most of it is an outdoor venue. There is some inside seating and that kind of thing on a really hot day, but on a nice day like today, you might want to spend an evening out here, have a couple cocktails, meet some folks. Your kids can come out too. There's plenty to do. Usually there's live music, so always a good time here. And another thing that's kind of unique to this area is off to my left, just behind the Alliance Town Center, there's this huge open field, and a lot of times you'll actually see a longhorn out here. And the reason for this is the guy that owns this property wants to keep his ag exemption and keep those property taxes low. So in Texas, we have property taxes, if you're not aware of this yet. And when we look at properties later on, we're going to talk about that a little bit, because a lot of times there's PIDs or MUDs or all these other things that increase your property taxes, which obviously, if you can avoid those, you want to. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on, but let's keep going.
Speaking of taxes, the U.S. Mint is actually right around the corner right here in Haslett, so a huge portion of U.S. currency is actually made here in Texas. Now, those tax dollars aren't just going into thin air, they're actually going to really good education, especially here, because if you know anything about the schools in this area, they're all A-rated, highly sought after. We've got Eagle Mountain ISD, we've got Argyle ISD, we've got Northwest ISD, all of these A-rated schools that people will fight tooth and nail to get their kids into because they're looking for a good education. But, you know, once your kid gets out of school and you need a cool place to hang out, you'll end up probably going to the Hilltop truck stop, because that's one of our favorite pit stops to make while we're in Northlake on our way to one of our favorite neighborhoods that we're about to show you guys. So we had to make a quick pit stop for gas, and if you know anything about gas stations, it can be dingy, gross, dirty, but one of the best ones that you're going to be able to find around here is probably Quick Trip, unless you can find one of these. What is this? This is Buc-ee's, and if you're moving to this area, you're going to need to get really familiar with Beaver because this place is probably where you're going to be doing most of your shopping, believe it or not. To call it a gas station is a bit of an understatement because they've got an entire grocery store inside of here. But don't worry, if you don't want to shop at a gas station, there's also a Target less than 20 minutes away, and Costco's just right up the road. Plus, with all the development coming to this area, HEB might be the place you want to shop from now on. But until then, you might want to get really friendly with this guy. And I'm serious when I say these guys sell everything. To my left, we've got deer feeders, and to the right, you've got deer stands. So if you're going hunting, you might want to pick up some supplies at your local gas station.
There are all kinds of lifestyles here in this area. So if you're looking for something much more affordable and you want to go with a pre-existing house, there's all kinds of stuff near Arcadia Park and right around all the shopping that we showed you earlier. Right now we are in North Lake. This is Pecan Square, phenomenal community. So this is, if you want something newer, if you want something brand new or newer, this is a great spot to land as well, where you're gonna have just a ton of community events, things to do, all kinds of amenities, pools, courts, playgrounds. There's kids running around everywhere here today. School's out. So, and not only that, but like, there's actually a handful of communities like this in the area. So if this is kind of the thing you want, we're going to show you a lot of different options when we get back to the studio. Now, I will say there is one community over here that has a certain amenity that people pay big bucks for. You don't see anywhere else. We're going to share that with you here in just a little bit.
So you can get a house in Frisco on a 40-foot piece of land with maybe some amenities in your community, or for around the same price, you can get a house like this on an acre of land. And we're not just pulling your leg. We're actually about to jump over to the studio and show you guys what's for sale on the market right now to prove it. So now that we're back in the studio, I wanted to prove to you guys that this area is really just as popular as we say it is. It's really just booming. So many people have moved here because of the job opportunities and the economy that it is ridiculous. There really used to just be nothing in this area. And if we take a look at it here on the map, you can even see this is the MLS right here. So we've got all of the active new home listings in the area. And it's kind of divvied up a little bit weird, but there's somewhere on the order of almost 400 in this area if you look at all the little dots piled up. And then Dallas proper has maybe about 350 or so. So it's actually edging out one of the biggest cities in, well, the U.S. As far as new homes go, and at a much more affordable rate as well. So I kind of wanted to dig into a couple of these because one of the best things about this area is not only is it affordable and fraught with new homes and great communities, there's also a community and home for basically any lifestyle that you want. You're not far from the lakes if you like lake living or waterfront living. You've also got country living, as well as plenty of master plan communities for everyone who wants those crazy amenities and really nice houses as well. So let's dive into this real quick because you just saw that we were over at Pecan Square and then Creekside West. Pecan Square is definitely one of our favorites. It's right up here just in the North Lake Justin area. And I would say because it has an incredible sense of community. So we talk about this one a lot. If you've ever seen any of our other videos, or if you haven't, go check it out. We've got an in-depth tour of the neighborhood as well as the homes in there. But it's one of our favorite because we don't get this kind of interpersonal interactions in a lot of neighborhoods that you do with this one, with the way they set up the amenity center, how attentive the HOA is, the type of events that they carry on a regular basis. It really just blows us away, the kinds of things that they do in this neighborhood. Like, I keep calling it a community, but it really is it's a neighborhood. It's just evolved into something more, it feels like, because of the type of people that move there. And honestly, the price range is very comparable. You've got some stuff in the 400,000s, and there are some bigger houses that go up into like the sevens. But for the most part, you're staying in a very manageable family-sized home price range for the area. Like you see here, we've got some of the smaller lots here in the 400,000s. These are very accessible. Pulte's a really good builder, less of an economy builder, but definitely a production builder still. Let's see if we've got some with some photos here. Coventry Homes also makes a really nice house. Theirs are going to be slightly bigger. Okay, this one's D.R. Horton. That's probably a name most of you guys recognize. Again, very accessible price range. They make kind of a no-frills house, but it's still very well built, good construction. And these are mostly the styles that you're going to see here with some of these production style builders. Now, there are some higher end names in here. If you're looking to add a little bit more flair, there is Highland Homes. There are Ashton Woods as well. There's, obviously Coventry has a lot of material choices as well. I have a story on them and a client of mine that actually moved to this neighborhood. They built this beautiful house. Actually, first of all, let me take a step back because these guys' story is really interesting, and I think it speaks to more than just this area. But they bought with another builder 2 or 3 years before this happened, and then realized that their kid was going to be going into elementary school in a school district that wasn't all that great. So they came in from another country and didn't really know much about the area. They bought without a real estate agent, just through the builder. And they kind of got screwed, I'm going to be honest, because they landed in a not great school district in a home that was in a brand new community where they were still putting down a bunch of houses. So you've got a lot of competitive resale. And then their kid's about to go into elementary school, and everyone wants their kid to go to a good school. So what do? They try and get their kid into a new school district, namely this one. They actually moved to Pecan Square, and they love it to death. But I'll tell you, it was a struggle to get in there. First of all, they had to sell their home in, like I said, a very competitive listing market. And then on top of that, they had to get into what was a very difficult neighborhood to get into at the time, just because of the fiscal year and everything like that. Depending on when you buy will determine the type of home buying experience you have, but these guys didn't really get a lot of a choice. So we fought tooth and nails to get these guys into a house of their dreams. They customized it to their heart's content. They absolutely love it there. But I'm telling you, like, the amount of effort people will go through to get into a neighborhood like this and in a school district like this is no joke. And it's 100% worth it. Hands down. I would do it all over again to help these guys out. And I'm so glad that they ended up getting to move here. I know we ran into some bumps along the way, but if you guys are watching this, I'm glad it all worked out. So yeah, phenomenal community. The current listings don't really do it a lot of justice. And I try not to show past listings because somebody may be living there, but there are some, trust me, go check out our other video if you want to see some more of the houses there, because some of them are absolutely gorgeous. And right across the road here is another really interesting one. So this is actually the same community the same developer as the Pecan Square community. So Hillwood makes Pecan Square, and honestly, Hillwood makes a phenomenal community. Great amenities, great layouts, beautiful houses, and they're all very reasonably priced for what you're getting. And they also did this one right here. This one's called Harvest. It's as soon as you as soon as you drive into this community, you're greeted with this giant stock pond with these fountains, and just beyond it is this courtyard area that's got the amenities center. There's like a little playground for the kids. The fitness center is like a street past that with a pool. There's also a little coffee shop that's built up like an old Victorian, or I guess craftsman style 2-story. It's honestly gorgeous. And they've got a community greenhouse that's like an acre in size. It's ridiculous. But they're actually about to close out this one. They still got a couple of houses left here. Like, see, they got Tri-Point, and I forget who the other builder is, but they're basically down to like townhomes at small lots and things like that. But if you like this style of community, I don't want that to scare you off. Oh no, they're about to be done building, because just on the other side of Justin here, about 5-10 minutes up the road, is a new community by the same builder called Treeline. Now this one's got, again, Tri-Point and DR Horton, but they've also got Beezer Homes, there's Highland Homes. I want to say Coventry's building in here as well. So if you want to get into a community early with some gorgeous houses with a known developer that does great with their amenities, this is the way to go, because they're still in the first phase of building. You can get into this early and probably save a couple of bucks, because it's only going to get more expensive from here. You've also got Pulte here. Surprisingly enough, Pulte's building a larger product. Usually they try to stick to, these are really pretty. Usually they try to stick to more like smaller footprint houses. But yeah, they're actually building some pretty big houses. I think they got a 60-foot lots here, if I'm not mistaken. They got some of the larger ones, but like I said, they are a production style builder, but they do a really good job. So if you're not too worried about adding a ton of bells and whistles to your house and you still want a really good product, highly suggest them. We've also got videos on all the walkthroughs for these for Treeline as well. We got in there basically the week before they even opened everything to go, view the model homes, and took a tour around. Oh, here we go. Let's check this out. American Legend. So American Legend, they are actually part of Grand Homes. And if you've seen any of our videos on Grand Homes, those guys make a very flashy house. Now, this is more their entry level stuff. But when I say entry level, take that with a grain of salt, because you can already see there's still a lot of detail and stuff going on with this house. This is just one of their inventory homes. It's not even like a custom build. You get a crazy amount of windows. I think that's their design philosophy, if I'm not mistaken. These guys are huge on interior lighting, like natural lighting. So you see, you got transom windows on 2 walls, 6-foot windows all along both of those walls there. Big open floor plans, tall ceilings. I love the way they did the herringbone on the backsplash. So yeah, and like, again, there's nothing super flashy about this. It's just a really good and creative use of materials, lighting, and color palette choices. Because all of this is honestly pretty simple. I mean, you get some upgraded carpet here, some high baseboards. There's not like crown molding or anything crazy, but they did a really good job with the materials they have. And that's what I'm saying is, like, Hillwood they vet the builders that are going into their community, because good houses make a good community. I mean, among other things, but you don't want to build this crazy neighborhood and then it have, mid-tier houses in it. So again, this is one of the more expensive options in Treeline, and that's still well within the range of affordability for most people looking at like maybe a family-sized home. At 3,100 square feet, you're getting a lot of house for your dollar. So you're going to see a lot of that up in this area, because it has really exploded. Actually, so much so that 407 here, this main road that goes through it, well, let's just say they should have done construction a lot earlier, because they did not expect it to be as popular as it was. Now, don't get too distraught, because they are definitely working on that. The city knows that that's an issue, especially with the fact that HEB is going to be coming over here on the other side of the highway here in the next year or two, which is going to bring a lot of extra traffic to the area. They are definitely working to widen 407 because it needs it. And I would say that's probably the only real downside. We've also got some stuff over here. So if you're really into Argyle, if you know anything about Argyle, between that and Aledo are probably the 2 highest rated football programs in the state of Texas. So, and if you know anything about Texas, high school football is almost a cult following here. I don't know why we decided to put all of our beans in that bag, but we just did, and we are really freaking good at it. So if you've got a sports nut in the family that's coming up on high school, and that's really important to you, the extracurriculars, the sports activities, Argyle has a phenomenal program in basically all of their high schools. But you're going to find a lot of houses. Again, Bloomfield, phenomenal, like mid-range builder, in a reasonable price range. So 2,400 square feet. This one's actually got some photos in it, so we could take a look through here. We sell a lot of Bloomfield homes, understandably. Like, they do a really good job of making it look tasteful without it being too over the top. This floor plan, I actually forget the name of, but I think it's the Violet too. It's really popular because it's like this galley style house, so everything's nice and open, and you get a really big master bedroom. So oddly enough, the master bedroom is right there. It's kind of tucked away off of the kitchen area. And then this one, I believe, comes with the option for a pop-up on the second floor, which is kind of like a second-story game room, which is really nice for like creative flex space, secondary office, a place for the kids to put their toys. But yeah, this is a sizable master bedroom. Every time somebody goes to check out their house, they're like, wow, this is big. Yeah, you can see it right there. You get all that little hutch area over there, and the way that they did the bathroom in the corner, it saves a lot of space on the walls and everything too. Now, I will say master bathroom, a little small on this one, but otherwise, then I don't want that to be indicative of all their houses, because they've got other floor plans, obviously. That one's just a really popular one, and they do a really good job. So you've got a lot to pick from in this area as well. There's MI Homes as well, so they're more of an entry style builder, but they've got some mid-range products as well. So a lot of stuff to pick from in this area. You know what? How many photos does this one have? Let's take a look at one of MI Homes, because I actually have a client under contract with some of their stuff. They do like upgrade packages. So if you're looking for a house where everything just kind of matches and looks really nice, and you're not too worried about picking out the individual colors of every single thing. Oh, they just took a bunch of photos. So, well, we could take a look at this. So anyway, they do upgrade packages. Their stuff is also really good. And I would say you could save a lot of money on one of their houses if you're not worried about customizing everything like you would with, say, a Bloomfield house. So Argyle ISD, there's the Tanger outlets. You saw us there earlier as well. This is one of the bigger areas, because you can see we got TopGolf in the back. There's like a bunch of hotels and stuff, because a lot of people travel here for Texas Motor Speedway and some of the other events that happen in the area, because there's a lot of corporate events that happen here too. Argyle ISD or Argyle High School. Again, phenomenal football program. Like this football stadium alone is bigger than I think like probably most schools, which is ridiculous. Flower Mound also has a ridiculous one, which is odd because they sucked at football whenever I was in high school. They've got a whole like actual stadium. But yeah, so you got they just put a bunch of photos of North Lake and the Alliance area and stuff like that here, which, you know, I was kind of hoping for photos of their house, but I guess whatever. But yeah, you've got a bunch of stuff up towards Denton, but if that's a little too far for you, because then the drive time starts getting a little bit too much. But some people go up there for the college. There's also a bunch of stuff down this way. So if we go closer to the actual Alliance area, I want to show you guys a couple of these. So Graham Hart, this one is, I believe, Sweetgrass is the neighborhood. Yeah, Sweetgrass is a really cute little community. It's a pretty simple one. There's not a lot to it as far as amenities and things go. They've got like a little pond area, some green spaces and stuff like that, but they've got some really nice houses in here, and you can tell by the price range, like they're upper scale. So this may not necessarily be for everybody. Let me see if I can actually get y'all a photo of some of these because they don't have that many listed. Okay, here's American Legend. So they've got two areas to Sweetgrass. You've got your more mid-range houses, which is what this would fall under, and we'll take a look at this as well. And then you've got their higher end stuff. So a few of the builders got together and they made like, you know, they're on, I think, a quarter acre, so slightly larger lots. And they've got like really high end finish outs and everything. We actually have a video on some of the walkthroughs of those for the Sweetgrass. I think it's called The Vines Sweetgrass The Vines. Go check out that video if you want to go see some of the interior shots, because it looks like Graham Hart didn't post a lot of their photos, unfortunately, which sucks because they've got a beautiful house. But here we've got American Legend again. We can see another one of their finish outs. Again, you see tons of windows, lots of natural lighting, really high baseboards, banisters throughout. It honestly looks really good. Like just looking at it, there's not a lot of standout features necessarily. Like there's nothing that's just like boom or pop, but everything together just makes a really nice homey feel while still looking elegant. And that's what a lot of the stuff that you're going to find here, because basically like this area existed for a long time. Let me actually open up Google Maps real quick, because Alliance actually used to be here a long time. Like if we look at some of the older neighborhoods, like some of the ones around Arcadia Park and Fossil Creek and things like that, you can kind of see, let's see, where's it at? So yeah, we got Fossil Park around Fossil Creek. There's like a bunch of golf courses and stuff here. There's some like older neighborhoods here, like 30, 40 years old. But honestly, I think some of the earliest houses in this area were like in the late 70s, which for a lot of people is probably the sweet spot as far as like as old as a house gets, just because then you don't have to worry about aluminum wiring or cast iron plumbing. Everything was basically up to code in this area. And then really the vast majority of houses didn't start getting built until after 2010. There's some stuff that like in Arcadia Park, I think some of the older homes are like in the 2009, 2008 timeframe, but the vast majority of it was closer to like the COVID era, which honestly worked out really good because all of your houses are new, all of your infrastructure is new, all of the shopping and activities are in like newer buildings. Everything just looks really clean and bright and square cut. It's a really cute little area, and it hasn't been overpopulated or anything like that. But you can actually see here on the map, this is the BNSF rail station, which is part of this huge economic hub, because Texas is a railroad, or especially Fort Worth, Dallas is like it's a railroad town. We were built by the railway. Our lifeblood is the railway, and right next to it you can kind of see the flight line here for the Alliance Airport. So I believe it's only one runway, but it's actually, yeah, it looks like one runway, a couple of taxi lanes, but so much comes in and out of the Perot airfield, just all of these warehouses and everything around it. And you can see there's not a lot of houses or any houses really for sale in that area because it's all like commercial, industrial, stuff like that. But right outside of it, you got a bunch of little houses popping up. This one's actually, I'm a huge fan of this one because I feel like you get a lot of bang for your buck in this neighborhood here, and that is Wildflower Ranch. Now, I have a couple of friends that actually live in this area. There's two amenity centers. Both of them have pools. One of them has a regular pool, and then, like a gathering space, meeting area, but then the other one has a pool with a lazy river built into it. And that's that thing that you can't really get in any other neighborhood. You only see it in like water parks and maybe some high-end hotels or something like that. I've never actually seen a neighborhood with a lazy river until I came here, which is really cool. And since it's an HOA and everything, they actually go out and maintain it. It's kept very neat, and it never really seems to get that crowded. Even in the heat of summer, I don't see a lot of people just storming it. So it's kind of a fun place to just hang out. And you've got a lot of mid-range builders here. So this one is a little bit pricier, but it's also a larger house at almost 4,000 square feet. We'll take a look at it real quick because who's this? Coventry Homes. We haven't actually taken a look at one of theirs, but they're a pretty popular builder in the North Fort Worth area. And even over in the Dallas area as well. So this one's got a cool sweeping staircase. Let's see some of these photos. These are the color options they picked, I guess. Oh, there you go. So here's the entryway and everything. And like you can see, there's not a lot of like coloration or anything, but it's all very timeless, elegant. You get like trim and molding over the doorway and around this corner. And by the way, like wood curves are really difficult to do. So kudos to that guy. So off the entryway, looks like you get a little office. This is your dining area, opens up into your kitchen. Yeah. So, yeah, nice coloration. Nothing over the top, but it looks like it's all solid construction. Everything looks really nice. You could basically do any style with a house like this, because some builders, like, they'll add XYZ to a house, and it kind of pigeonholes you into one style. Whereas something like this, while it may not look like a lot without furniture in it, like it's a really good canvas for somebody who may want to make it their own. I mean, maybe a couple of hardware changes here and there. If you've got like maybe like brass instead of black, easy fix. It's a couple $100s and you're good to go. But other than that, like you're ready to set up any home decor project with a build like that. Let's take a look at, see if we can find one that's a little bit lower in the price range here so you guys can see. There we go. Brightland Homes. So Brightland honestly makes a really good house. I'm surprised they've got a house at this price range. It's only 2,000 square feet, still a decent sized house, maybe a starter family home. But yeah, so I'm a big fan of Brightland because they put a lot of, I like their facades. You can already see from the front of the building, you've got like several different materials. It all works together, but you've got like a reddish brick. You see the different grout color, the stone and the archway and everything, the different trim, and then some siding up here. Like it's not busy, but it's more stand out than a lot of builders. Now, this one at this price range, you're not getting anything crazy. Obviously, you get like a textured backsplash, but you're getting like 1-inch granite or quartz, basic tumbler style cabinets. Brightland also has some higher end options as well, so don't be down on them as a builder. But this one is a little bit more plain. You're still getting some really good materials. Like I think that's luxury vinyl plank, which I know a lot of people hate on it, but man, that stuff lasts. If you've got like young kids or dogs especially, because those nails will tear up like any kind of wood or carpet that you have. Like this stuff, it doesn't care. You can spill stuff on it. It's, man, honestly, if you just live a messy life, that's the way to go. Yeah, you're still getting a really nice finish out and everything. Nothing over the top, but for $400,000 in a neighborhood like this, not bad at all. So now that you've seen like a couple of the master plan communities and everything, I do want to point out some of the smaller communities. We talked about Creek Meadows West earlier, which is part of the Creek Meadows neighborhood. They're not selling anymore. I don't believe. There's a couple of actually, you know what? Let me pull up. Let me see if I can find it actually, because there are a couple of houses that are still for sale. Oh, Bell Grand Estates. Actually, let me point this one out as well, because these are on half an acre. And you can see, I mean, half an acre in Frisco, you're not going to be able to find it, first of all. But while we're here, because this one's got Ashland, Ashland Homes. We don't see a lot of their houses, but when we do, I've always been blown away. The very first one I walked into was actually one of their mid-range houses. It was like a family-sized house. I think it was like $650,000, $700,000 at the high end. And man, like, there wasn't anything super flashy about it, but I was still very blown away by their craftsmanship and everything. And you can kind of see from the front of this house, you're getting like huge, what are those, 7-foot, 8-foot picture windows here, just tripled across the front of like 3 different faces of the house. You've got like 2 different types of brick and stone being put down in patterns. So you're already just kind of like prepping yourself for wow at the front of the house. And again, these tumbler style French doors. Oh man, they even put trim in between. Man, Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Like me, I'm just kind of nerding out at this point. They do a really good job, the crown molding and everything. And again, nothing is just like super flashy, or like it's not like gold or, you know, sparkles or anything crazy, but you can just see it's got like this wow elegance to it. Wow, okay, that is a choice of color. I mean, it doesn't look bad, but I don't know about blue. That's just not my color, I guess. But hey, look, to each their own. I don't want to bash on somebody's color choices, because honestly, it's a beautiful house. Like that, man, that living room setup is to die for. Imagine your friends coming over for like a dinner or something, because I like hosting. I'm not, you know, I'm not like a party animal or anything, but I do like hosting. And if I had friends over, dude, I would have all, because I bet you there's a dining room set up here to the beside it, and just having that set up like almost like a Viking style roof or whatever. It's just vaulted ceilings. I'm getting too into it, but yeah, there you go. That's about where I would put the dining table, right in front of your kitchen setup. And man, that's a beautiful kitchen too. So yeah, if you've got a little bit of extra money to sling around, and you want the big house, you want the big lot, and you're okay with being a little bit further from Frisco than actually being in Frisco, because a house like this in Frisco, 2 million plus, easy, no problem. Here, what is this? 959. Yeah, so you're definitely getting a heck of a lot more bang for your buck with 3,700 square feet than you could in a city center like that, if you could even find a half acre in Frisco. So it's no joke. Like, Frisco got expensive. Like, I get it. It's a great place. Tons of shopping. All the Cowboys stuff is over there. And everyone's going there. So if you can afford it, by all means. But for those of you that want to make your money go a little bit further, I'm telling you, this is the move. I've got friends that live up here. They absolutely love it. The traffic, honestly, isn't really that bad, because you're right next to like several major highways, but you're not close enough that you have to hear cars whizzing by you all the time. You've also got places like down here. What is this one? The Retreat at Fossil Creek. Where's technically it's Saginaw, but here it is, Wellington. So I try and recommend this one to people because this one is up and coming, and I know it's going to go fast. They are building houses about as quickly as they can. This one, what is this? Highland Homes. A huge fan of their stuff. This is a 40-foot model. So it's going to be a little bit narrower. If you don't want a bunch of yard you got to maintain, or you just want to save even more money, you're not too worried about the size of the lot that you put it on, you're still getting a lot of square footage, because this is almost 2,500 square feet right here on a 40-foot product. So Highland, I think they do a phenomenal. Honestly, I think they actually rated one of the top in the country for builders as far as interior design goes. And one of the things I'm a huge fan of with their building is that the founder of Highland Homes, she actually is still very involved in everything that happens in the company, which seems a little bit weird to say, but I know a lot of people, as they get older, or their company develops, they try and pull away from it, get more stuff off their plate. This lady is just like in it, and I think she's doing a phenomenal job. I'm a huge fan of Highland Homes and their products. So you can kind of see, like, again, their stuff isn't super over the top, and I get this is a 40-foot product, but considering where this is, because if you look at it here, you've got, this is where the stockyards is down here. You're just like right up here. You've also got Alliance Town Center over here. All that stuff we talked about, like the Tanger Outlets, is right here. Texas Motor Speedway is right there. And you're right next to Eagle Mountain Lake. So a lot of pros to this. And like I said, technically this is Saginaw, but I like to lump this whole Haslett triangle area together, because honestly, like it all just kind of flows together. Like, I know it's different legal descriptions, but the whole area just has like a certain feel to it. It's really nice. It's like that big open sky feel, because everything's kind of flat and there's not a lot of high-rise buildings. Like, Haslett started off as farmland and like these big ranch houses, so there wasn't a lot of high-rise buildings. There's not a lot of things to obscure your skyline view, if you will. So it's just like you kind of walk outside and it almost feels like everything just opens up to you, which I think is a huge part of the draw. This is American Legend again. They're doing a lot of houses out here, it looks like. Yeah, so big windows. Again, this one doesn't have quite as high as ceilings, but you're still getting, like, I think that's actual wood down there for the flooring. Oh, that's cool, with, upgraded carpet. And this is, I believe, is a master bedroom. Oh, I like that. It's a very square look, but it's not like brutalist or anything. So they did a really good job with their finish outs here. So anyway, I'm just kind of nerding out about houses at this point, but you've got a lot of different neighborhoods. This one's actually, it's part of a master plan community, but this one's a little bit more spaced out, a little bit more low key. So I always recommend stuff like this to people, but suffice to say, no matter what you're looking for, there are houses for everyone. If you're looking for pre-owned homes, there's also a ton in the area. Like I said, Arcadia Park is absolutely gorgeous, and they've got houses that not even 20 years old at this point. It's got this giant river park thing that runs through it. So there's options for people that are looking for pre-existing as well. But on top of that, an absolute crap load of new homes going on in the area. Like I could literally do this all day, and I'm going to spare y'all the ramble. But suffice to say, we've got videos on every single one of these neighborhoods. I highly advise you guys, if you saw one of these that you liked, or you saw a builder that you liked, go check out those videos, because we have walkthroughs of all of the builders' houses, all of the neighborhoods in this area. We probably have more footage on this area than any other builder, and we do a lot of business in the North Fort Worth area because it's so desirable. We've had a lot of people move there. So if you're interested in this area, it's something that might work for you or your family, hit us up. We would love to help you guys out and make your move to Texas a lot smoother, and we can't wait to see y'all here. So remember, whether you're looking to buy or sell, keep calm and call Tom.